Hello, and welcome to the Book Wars podcast. That's what we're called.
Definitely thought you forgot where you were for a second.
We're doomed.
I did realize, like, when the theme was starting, I was like, do I actually know how to do this? Hello, friends. This is Miranda. I am here with the whole gang. We have Rana, we have Chris, we have Mom, we have Geeks. That's what their names are in the recording thing.
Oh my
God. So
Excuse me, mine doesn't just say Rana. I'm
I
offended.
I didn't want to try to read how many Nas there are.
It's okay.
Also, I introduced myself as Miranda and not Burb.
That's true. You got
It does say burb.
3 out of 5 right. Solid 60%.
Hey, that's
This is
not
a
bad.
reading podcast.
Oh, I missed
East
it.
Coast.
Am I the only person who put my actual name? I am. That's very funny.
Born
I've
white
not
man.
changed my name in months. It used to say late ass Rana. Or sometimes I can't believe I'm not late ass Rana. Or
Nice.
sometimes
I love it.
marginally on time Rana. And then I just changed it when I moved. No, not when I
Smart.
moved. Whenever we started recording again recently.
Fair. I guess, Rana, you put your name. You just then added on to it.
It's true.
I feel like I need to tell everyone that what it says is, I don't know why I do this. It's my name in our internal Slack channel because it was my one friend's nickname for me in college. It's Rananana. I don't know. I don't know why I do
I
this.
was
so
reading it
good.
like I was reading
like,
it like the
"Ra-na-na-na."
Batman theme song, like Rana na 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 na.
That would work too, honestly. Anything's better than Reina, so I'll take it.
Oh,
Fair.
Man.
Yeah,
I was
so
reading it
as you
like
can tell, this is our bonus.
Like banana.
There's a whole nother na there.
I know, but can I read?
That's bananas.
Oh my god.
As you can tell, this is an episode of a Star Wars podcast. It's our bonus
Not about
episode
books.
on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
True.
Nailed it.
Thank you. I worked really hard.
Is that a book, Miranda?
Did I say? Oh, I just said series. It's a TV show.
Is it only on one streaming service?
God damn it. You know where to find Obi-Wan Kenobi.
On
Are you
Tatooine.
reading?
It's on
prequels?
Tatooine.
I'm just kidding. I'll stop. I'm being an asshole.
We're all
Someone else
like
has to
turned
take
up
it
to
from you.
700.
All right.
Tonight.
Before we get started talking about this wonderful 6-episode limited series only on Disney Plus.
They don't pay us to say that.
They really don't.
That's true, but we can always dream.
I feel like they pay us to not say it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, on our pod only.
Yeah. What's everyone drinking?
Wait. Oh, never mind. I can't read. Go ahead.
I'm drinking pub beer, which I think is what I was having last time. It's from 10 Barrel Brewing. Pub beer lager. It says cheap fun on it because it's like
It's
their
cheap and
cheap
it's fun.
beer. That's all we have in the fridge right now, basically. I didn't want to drink a double IPA, even though after, we've had such like a good run with this new podcast service thingy that we're using. And tonight it just absolutely borked on me specifically, and it was not fun. And now I'm regretting not having a double IPA.
It's not too late to run. and
I
get a new
know.
one.
Let's go in order of whose is the highest proof. So I think Chris is first.
I like that.
Yes. So I'm out of beer that I like.
No, you're not. You have one more.
Of what?
The tangerine.
I do?
Creamsicle. Yeah, bro.
Fuck yeah. Well, that's exciting news.
That's Chris's treat
His
after
day
the
just
pod.
got so much better.
It
I
really
know.
did. However, at this moment, I am drinking Compass Box Spice Tree Scotch. And I am polishing off the bottle, so I'm halfway into my drink and still have a solid single left.
This is gonna go great, y'all.
Okay, now it's among the rest of you to figure out what you're drinking. You can do it, I promise. Go ahead.
Definitely not
Anyone have
me.
anything higher than a 6?
No.
Great. So
It's
I
you.
think it's Irana next.
Okay. I wasn't sure if Miranda had one. I am drinking a Jolly Farmer Locavore Beer Works Watermelon Wheat. For
That's
those
a lot
not,
of words.
it is, but I swear I didn't make them up. They are on the can.
I can definitely read that.
I can send a picture if we need verification. I believe that the brewing company is just Locavore Beer Works, and it's called Jolly Farmer, and it's the watermelon wheat Jolly Farmer. It has a cute little image of a rooster driving a truck with a massive watermelon in it. And I don't know if there's a wildfire or something, but the entire sky is orange.
Oh,
But-
like Colorado.
Yeah, it's fun. And similarly, I want this because I feel like everything is on fire because it's been 100 degrees for like 10 days in a row. So I
so
am
hot.
huge. It's so hot. And my poor dog is like, the river is dried up at the dog park, and we get there and he's like looking all around. It's fine. This is the most boring apocalypse I could have imagined.
Maybe.
It says brewed in small batches and released in July to celebrate Independence Day, which, side note, I probably would not have bought if I knew it was an Independence Day beer. Also, I bought this in March.
Yep.
Jolly Farmer has over 1 pound of watermelon in every gallon of beer. Jolly is an unfiltered wheat beer and tastes like freedom. Yeah, I would not have bought this if I read this. It's from Littleton, Colorado. It's actually really good. I had a can of it in March when we had a heat wave, which says a lot. And saved the other one for when we had more heat wave. And now I'm drinking it, and it is tasty. But the Independence Day and freedom language means I'll never buy another one. I don't know who's next for alcohol percentage, but this is a 6% and it's a 15 IBU.
I'm gonna go next just because I have topical watermelon beer. I also have watermelon beer. So this is Station 26 Brewing Company in Denver, which I had never had before or heard of before I bought this beer. Go figure. It's watermelon gosa, Himalayan sea salt and watermelon. It's 4.5, so Miranda may or may not have me beat there. But yeah, the can looks like a
Where
watermelon.
did you buy?
This is at Hazel's.
Okay, I'm coming to visit you soon so I can go get a shit ton of that.
Yes, do. The watermelon is like a little more. I mean, every single watermelon flavoring that's not an actual watermelon tastes a little bit artificial, so it's a little bit more than I would like it to be. But no, it's still delicious. So yeah,
Can I ask a question about it?
of course.
Did you choose watermelon so you wouldn't have to kiss Chris when you're angry?
I did get it so Chris couldn't drink any, and then I
Okay,
don't have to
fair.
share. So I'll say that.
For those listeners who don't know, I am unfortunately allergic to watermelon.
Which is incredible.
There's nothing in it
Mm-hmm.
except that I'm allergic to it.
The water fruit was too spicy for the white man.
Christ almighty. Burby, what you got?
I'm drinking water.
Definitely lower alcohol than Kate.
Uh-huh.
It's 0.0%, and it is not fluoridated.
It is not fluoridated.
Oh my god.
Too many cavities
No
here
midichlorians
because of
in the
that.
water.
Portland, please.
It's a hot mess. I do like it when they ask you now at the dentist, though. They're like, do you want fluoride? And I'm like, no, I grew up with it. I'm all set, thank you.
Oh, they make me have it.
I've
Yeah, but
Never
both
been
of us have hot
asked.
garbage teeth.
Oh, see,
Your teeth are also
it's
hot
very
garbage.
confusing.
maybe, yeah, that
don't
makes
know.
sense. I didn't know that, but it's possible.
This is probably gonna. I'm just saying this up top in case people are listening to this and didn't see our, as always, last minute from the Book Horse Pod, not us. Our last minute call for listener questions. We'll probably hit most of those on our second episode about Obi-Wan, so you still have time if you want to get your questions in via the Tashi Station Patreon Slack, or just tweet at us. We'll probably answer a few tonight that are relevant, and then all the other fun ones and stuff like that we'll or ones that didn't fit in this first episode, we'll answer at the end. So if you want to ask us
So if
questions,
we don't get to it today, your answer and question was really
yes,
important.
it is in the outline, and then
Just kidding.
also please ask us more because we like the questions.
All non-relevant questions will be put in the tomb on that planet.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's topical.
Rana, do you mind telling us about our cause this?
Racist.
Okay.
but no, I'm kidding. Yeah, for sure.
I didn't want to make
Sorry,
Miranda
I don't know.
do
I'm
it.
in a weird mood. I mean, I know a lot of people normally work like 11 hours a day, but I'm tired and my brain doesn't work. So today, our cause is Indigenous Women Rising. Their website is www.iwrising.org. Their official mission is that they are committed to honoring Native and Indigenous people's inherent right to equitable and culturally safe health options through accessible health education, resources, and advocacy. They're also the only national scope Native-led abortion fund in the country, so give them your money if you're, thinking about the ways that Native women in states that refuse to think about people's choices over their body will be affected because, again, they're the only Native-led national scope abortion fund in the U.S. So
Give them your money.
give them your
cares
money
about your Starbucks.
because life sucks. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Shall we dive into Kenobi?
I was like,
Yes, please.
speaking of life sucks, let's talk about
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
When and where are we?
We're on Tatooine again, y'all. I'm big fucking shock there.
Never
Why does
been there
everybody want to
before.
go back to Tatooine?
I was thinking about this while I was definitely not finishing the entire show today, right before we recorded. The amount of time, like, this is a fucking huge ass galaxy, and they spend so much time on desert planets, cities that are dark and dreary and sketchy cities. Oh, I had
Yeah.
another point. What was
Why
it?
does no one want to do stuff in Scarif?
It's beautiful there.
be
Also, it
so
blows up
nice.
eventually. So
Yeah, but we not yet, not in this show.
Also, planets with more than one biome? Not in my Star Wars.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's like there are 0 people on this planet, which is lucky because we're gonna have some weird shit go down.
So we are 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And yeah, Obi-Wan's just been sitting in the desert and being fucking emo for 10 whole fucking years.
He's got a
Shopping.
job.
Crate
He does
dragging
have a
meat.
job.
And what happens in Revenge of the Sith?
Bad stuff. Well, you see, he threw Luke Skywalker's father into a fucking volcano after chopping all his limbs off.
Okay,
Technically,
so
it was a lava planet.
And technically, he didn't throw him. He kind of rolled.
It's a meme, guys. Fuck.
I spent the whole the last couple episodes when they're having the lightsaber fights, I was just yelling to chop off his legs again.
Oh my god. You're such a dick.
Oh my
He's done it before.
Spiderkin.
That's really wrong. No, a spider kid. Dude,
That's why he lost.
can you imagine
Not
how
enough
much
legs.
more terrifying though Darth Vader would be if he had spider legs? Because Maul was pretty scary with spider legs, but Darth Vader just roaming through villages, just choking out children indiscriminately, while clacking around on mechanical spider legs would be. I don't even know. There's no word to describe
see
it.
this in a comic.
Right?
I can
I'm
tell you
ready.
though, if the original trilogy had Vader on spider legs, I would not be here doing this pod. I would not have gotten into Star Wars. I would not have been about it.
So, meanwhile, we got Keeks into the extended universe by telling her about Spider Mall. So, different strokes for different folks. Jesus fuck. What were we talking about? I think we had a point here. Oh,
So there's
yeah.
this show. And
Yeah, there's a show about Obi-Wan and
And
some
spiders.
shenanigans that happened
I
halfway
bet there are a lot of
between-
spiders in that cave.
I bet there are, though, actually.
That's always in TV shows. I'm like, this is the cleanest cave I have ever seen. You're just going through the jungle and your hair is perfect.
They
Always
did
shit
say
like
he
that.
smelled bad, and I 100% believe that he smelled bad.
Oh yeah, no, he
Just,
hadn't showered.
You
in-
can take a sand bath. You can find some herbs. Figure it out.
Now I'm just imagining Obi-Wan bathing like a chinchilla.
Oh, Those are so cute. Listen, speaking as a Jawa, if the Jawa said that he smelled bad, bro smelled bad. All right, so we're like about halfway between throwing Anakin down into a lava planet and Luke Skywalker almost stabbing himself through the face with a lightsaber. So that's about where we are in time. We generally spend these first episodes just kind of talking about what we enjoyed and what we didn't, which Daniel, Type Pile Dandy, anticipated by asking us, what on your Kenobi wish list came true? What did you want to see that didn't end up getting covered? Yeah, honestly, I enjoyed much of this, and I'll let Chris enumerate all the ways that he enjoyed this because retweet on his opinions for once in my life. But one thing that was missing for me is that I guess we got a lot of really cool sideways mentions of not Quinlan Voss and Padme, and there was no mention of Satine anywhere, which I guess they're maybe saving for the book that's coming out that's being written by, Chris, please remind me.
Kirsten White.
Thank you.
Comes out next week? Maybe?
Oh, my.
Soon.
Well, next week as of this recording. So, they might be saving it for that, but also I just... just to drive in the emo knife just really deep and then twist it a little bit. I would have enjoyed just something. But that's me.
Yeah, I kind of thought we might get a little bit of Satine content because Lucasfilms, and maybe I'm just forgetting what else happens in these episodes because heartbreak, but Lucasfilms released their suggested rewatch of the Clone Wars episodes before Obi-Wan, and it had a bunch of the Satine episodes. And I was like, oh, shit. But in retrospect, maybe I'm forgetting other things that happened in those episodes. I think if they hadn't done that, I wouldn't have expected Satine content. But because of that, I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I didn't think they were going to dive into that. And then I got really interested in where it was going to go. So, yeah, I agree with that. And it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was hoping for it, and then I also saw the same list that you did, where they were just what if you watched all the shit about the fall of Mandalore? And I was like, abso-fucking-lutely, let's go. And so, we rewatched, Voyage of Temptation and stuff like that, and I was just, sitting there cackling to myself and also weeping, because laugh crying is all Star Wars is. And, and I was just this feels like a red herring, but I don't know. They all say that they want to do Season 2, so we'll see if we just get some nice... sadness
So
soup.
I don't know if this is a question to save until later, but when you say that about them wanting to do Season 2, I'm confused because when we first heard about it, it was marketed as solely a limited series, and they were John Williams is going to come do the score, and he's not done a score for TV in 40 years or whatever. And now it looks like it's marketed as Season 1, and there could be, and just, I don't mind. I'm excited for more content, but does anyone know when that switched? Was it just a money-making switch, or did they realize they could get people back for Season 2? I was kind of surprised by the pivot there.
Yeah,
Good question.
My understanding is it basically switched on the press tour when all of the people involved talked about how much fun they had doing it. Ewan, who famously hated Star Wars for decades.
A Harrison Ford for our era.
Truly. An Alec Guinness for our era, honestly. Because, and fairly, because, if you put your heart and soul into something and you had to hear every fucking day for the rest of your life how shit it was, you would probably hate it too. But,
it didn't have anything to do with anyone that rhymes with Schmorge Schmookus, does it?
No, couldn't be. But, yeah, Ewan talked about what a great time he had specifically working with Deb Chow. Hayden talked about what a great time he had, and of course Hayden is rumored to be appearing in the Ahsoka show as well. So Hayden is going to get to do more in as far as we think.
Never mind. I'm going to add this as a question to our outline.
Okay.
A different question I was going to
ask. Deb Chow said that she very much envisioned, and this was written as a beginning, middle, and end story, which is what a lot of other people said too. But basically everyone involved has said they had a great time, and if there's a story that works, they are, would be excited to do Season 2. So to me, there's a lot of official press tour interview smoke around that issue for there to
Yeah.
not be a fire.
Yeah, I bet we'll get a season 2, even if it's like 3 years from now. It seems like relatively low effort on their part now that they have this whole platform, not Disney Plus, but like they're making shows left and right, and they have the audience. So I would not argue or be surprised if we
And
got season 2. It was just surprising to me because originally I kept hearing it as like, this is a limited series. They're putting so much effort into this. JK, we're gonna do another one.
They have the technology too lined up with the volume and everything. And Book of Boba Fett season 2 just got announced or rumored whatever. But I mean,
Rumored/leaked.
yes.
It was on like some like press something for like I don't know if it was Comic-Con or if it was like some like different country Lucasfilm affiliate, but something said like season 2 Book of Boba Fett coming soon.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean it'll be interesting because like, you know, I'm sure we'll talk about this more as we go. But like I'm often a big believer that like what makes stories good is ending it when it should be ended. But at the same time, going into what on my wish list came true, honestly, almost everything. When this show was announced, I was extremely nonplussed.
Which
say
version of it?
the official announcement of this miniseries.
No, which version of nonplussed?
Oh, what? I don't understand this reference. Anyway,
I knew you were gonna say that, Miranda. That is why I'm laughing so hard, because I'm gonna be like, she's gonna say this stupid thing that doesn't have a fucking point, and Chris is gonna get so confused, and she's gonna say it anyway.
It means
it.
both what you think and exactly the opposite.
does it?
Yes.
Oh, well, I meant the version that you think I meant, I guess. I was not really excited. You know, I was happy that they were getting Ewan back. It's been talked about so long. I was glad that there wouldn't be any more fucking rumors about it because I was tired of reading about them. But like,
You and John Jackson Miller.
yeah, right. But like, honestly, the like, Obi-Wan's 19 Years in the Desert didn't really interest me. And I was like joking with Kate when this got announced. Like, everybody else wants to see Obi-Wan like do cool Jedi shit, and I just want to see Obi-Wan go home and rethink his life. Like, my hope for this series going in was emo Obi-Wan just like thinking about the Force and everything that he's done and had to do in his life, and that is more interesting to me than more Obi-Wan action without a point. And I got that throughout the entire series. I loved how introspective Obi-Wan was. I thought his character's development from, you know, just being completely refusing to get involved in anything and afraid to do so, to rescuing Leia and doing his little lightsaber flourish, like to show that he's getting back into it, to like at the end beating Vader, was done incredibly well for only 6 episodes. And also, like, when Hayden was announced as coming back, I got a lot more excited. Because as people know, if you've listened to the pod before or talked to me, I have the unfortunate affliction of my favorite character in Star Wars is Anakin Skywalker.
Oh God.
And I have always and I respect a lot about the prequels, and the acting job that he does is not one of those things in the prequels that I respect. I'm
going to say something after you're done.
Oh no! Whoa! Well,
Yeah.
I'll say something at myself right there. I think this series is absolute proof that the problem with the prequels was George Lucas, not the acting.
Yeah, I feel like part of, and I used to think that also, but then I think part of what I dislike about his performance, I will say Attack of the Clones, I can't stand him. But a lot of that is writing. I always feel sad for the women in George Lucas's life. The way that he writes romance just makes me want to throw up. And to be fair, I feel that way about a lot of romance things, but especially like, it just creeps me out.
Space
but
Pairs.
No, that literally, I can't watch that scene. I cannot do it. It makes me have to look away from the TV. I feel like right now in my stomach, I'm like, oh no, I just don't like it. Anyways, in Revenge of the Sith, I feel like he does a great job of being angsty and being like very shitty. And I don't necessarily feel like his acting is that bad. I feel like the dialogue is bad, and also what he is doing is bad, but it's at least to me a very believable, angsty, furious teen who wants to, or not teen, but like young white dude who always wants to get his way and isn't getting it. Like, and I always feel like part of what I dislike about the prequels isn't actually his performance. It's the character and the fact that he does it well enough that it makes me want to hate him.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
No, I
Mission
think
accomplished.
I think that's really fair, and I completely agree with you that Revenge of the Sith is on a completely different level from Attack of the Clones. And I mean, you know, it was always probably George Lucas because, like, of the four main actors who were in the prequels, if you think about Liam Neeson, Hayden, Ewan, and Natalie Portman, 3 of those 4 have been nominated for Oscars in their lives. And they're all shit in those movies, like, respectfully.
I mean, didn't Harrison Ford say something about arguing with George Lucas and when they were filming A New Hope and saying, like, you can write this shit, but you can't say it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's true. Like, you can't say this shit.
Yeah. And so I was very excited going in to get Anakin content, because in my mind I was thinking, you know, the press is all well and good, but there's no reason to bring back Hayden to sit in a suit. Like, there's no point in bringing back Hayden if you're not going to have him out of the suit at one point or another. So I was very excited for that, and I was excited for redemption for a lot of these actors. And I really think that Ewan and Hayden got that redemption. I thought both of them put on a really incredible performance in, you know, Ewan's kind of updated take on Obi-Wan, to do it different than he did in the prequels, and, you know, and do it so much more dejected and less witty, and, you know, to really embrace the difference in character. And then for Hayden to be able to master Darth Vader and the cadence of his dialogue and the cadence of his speaking vocabulary, so to speak, and B, to be able to do that flashback where, like, Kate can attest to this, like, that first,
You
like,
only talk about it every damn day.
like, those first lines of the flashback where, like, Obi-Wan walks in and Anakin is like, oh, I thought you weren't coming, and then, like, kind of remembers himself and is like, Master. Like, that was, like, to me, absolutely pitch perfect, and I was so happy to see him get that redemption of his ability as an actor.
Yeah, I mean, the way he did
100%.
the way he the way that, like, you know, that final, like, halfway unmasking confrontation went was fucking incredible. Like, it's just like every moment of it, and, like, I mean, you only see half his face, and he's like, he is terrifying, and he is heartbreaking, and he is all these things, and you can really, like, see the layers of just, like, Darth Vader, like, over all these layers of, like, Anakin's just, like, pure fucking incel white boy rage, and it's just like, it's so much, and it's just, yeah, like, who knew he had it in him? So I mean, somebody did, clearly, but otherwise he wouldn't have come back. But, like, yeah, bless up.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that that sort of reminds me that I felt that this show did a good job of bridging Revenge of the Sith, end of Revenge of the Sith Vader, and A New Hope Vader, where, like, he goes from, you know, yes, he slaughters children and does all sorts of bad things, but also it's like the level of intensity and craziness that we get in A New Hope of, like, you're just force choking people for no reason, you're entering a room and, like, having fun killing everybody, is very different than, like, the tormented soul that we see in Revenge of the Sith. And so it's, you know, we get some concept and some look into this in other media of Star Wars, but I really appreciated the show because I felt like it did a great job of sort of building into how we get to that point. Because by the time we get to Empire Strikes Back, he's kind of calmed down a little bit. And I think that this show did a really good job, at least for me, of bridging the visual of sort of how we get to this point.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. One more thing I want to say about Hayden's performance is just, like, obviously he spends a great deal of time just, like, being Darth Vader, and therefore he is in the suit. but the way that he conceptualized his body language and like the way he walked, the way he like you know, the ways that he was moving his body to like to show that he was manipulating the Force and stuff like that was just like spot on, such that and done in such a precise way that if you look at the credits, there's like 3 different Vaders like they involve. Like, so sometimes Hayden's in the suit, sometimes it's a stunt double, sometimes it's a dude who's really 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 fucking tall when he needs to make other people in the show look really 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 fucking short. But his performance, just like in terms of just like the physicality of it, is so precise that we saw the listing of the 3 actors, and then we were like watching. You can tell when Hayden's in the suit and when someone else is, which I think is incredible. It's and really fascinating.
There was an awesome point on Twitter, and I'm so sorry, I don't know who said it. If someone knows, please credit them. But someone had pointed out how you can see the difference in Hayden's Vader versus David Prowse's Vader, and the way that that's really tied to storyline and not just actor. And people were saying like he fights like Anakin at this stage in his life. And sort of thinking about the differences in that. And I talk to Cadman about that all the time when we watched A New Hope, and we have very different views on how the Obi-Wan Vader fight should have gone. And I'm like, they're old men, they're in pain, they need some Advil. Like, it is what it is. But I think this sort of gave sort of that middle ground for folks who did want to see the real extent of their powers of, you know, flipping around and throwing shit and dragging people into fire. That was an interesting moment. And I just really felt like whoever had tweeted that, and I'm so sorry that I don't remember who it was, did a really good job of like pointing out the fact that that's intentional, right? And you can tell when it's Hayden in the suit, but that's because he's supposed to be, you know, an iteration of prequel Anakin's fighting styles.
Yeah. I remember there's a moment during the press tour where, you know, they were doing an interview, and Hayden was saying that when they were working with the stunt guys, these stunt folks were not people who had worked on the prequels, but they had watched those films so many times that they were pinpointing like, well, you do this like very particular like lightsaber move here, and we really want to incorporate that. And he's just like, I don't even remember doing that. And like, and he was just like, we're just making up half the shit like all the time anyway. There's this like really good like supercut of just like Anakin doing this like behind the back thing with his lightsaber that carries through in both the prequel movies he appears in and in that flashback that we get, and it's just like the attention to detail. It just makes me very very happy.
Yeah, and Rana, I completely agree with your point about really capturing this moment in Vader's development as a person, because, you know, you have Attack of the Clones where he doesn't know what to do with himself, and then you have Revenge of the Sith where his fear has proverbially turned to anger, because that is what he chose to do with his fear. That is what the option was presented to him, and that is what he chose. And now and then in the original trilogy, he's very much cooled off. Like, you still feel the rage, but it's very much like cool rage. Like, it's like, which is almost more terrifying in a lot of ways, but it's not that white hot anger that you feel anymore. In this series, you get that anger. It is still very much raging, and it was great to see because it is terrifying in, you know, not that original Vader isn't terrifying, but it's terrifying in a completely different way for the viewer to see. And so I loved that they, you know, didn't want to, you know, they didn't really like rest on their laurels when it came to writing Vader's character.
But you did get your Clone Wars armor. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so things I got: Anakin, really, really good Vader development. Great personification for Obi-Wan, great character development. One thing I would have loved, I loved the flashback scene. The flashback scene was very Master and Apprentice Anakin. I was really hoping for Clone Wars flashbacks, A, because the costumes are great and we've never seen them in live action, but B, because I love the friendship era Obi-Wan and Anakin relationship. And this is something that we're going to read a few books down the road. We're going to read Brotherhood by Mike Chen that just recently came out. And he captures this transition from that Master and Apprentice mode to the friendship mode incredibly well, and really just like writes so much depth into the portrayal in those movies. And that to me is really fun. Like, you know, we never really see the "you were my brother" Anakin. Like, we see Obi-Wan training Anakin. We see Obi-Wan yelling at Anakin because, you know, and again, to Obi-Wan's credit, he didn't ask for this and he never quite figured out what to do with Anakin.
Oh, Lord.
And then we see like 2 scenes in Revenge of the Sith of them actually bantering and having fun. And I wanted to see more of that. So that's like, I would say if I had to have a disappointment about the show, it's that. But honestly, like, I was living so good during this show that like it's a small thing.
I would have also liked to
For-
see that because clones. Please.
Yeah, yeah.
Please
And
give
also-
me clones.
I very, very complicated feelings about this for reasons that we've talked about, largely the casting, but I would have loved to see Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan on screen together in live action.
Bourbon Keeks, do you need to share what's going on in the chat with folks or not?
Oh, Miranda just said it's Rage with sunglasses on, and I'm like, stop writing funny things in the chat. What
He
that
was
could be
talking.
titles. I know he was
Oh
talking.
no, I'm talking about the next part.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, because Chris said something about friendship mode, and I said just 2 dudes being guys. And then Miranda took it one step further and said 6 feet apart, and I said in the hot tub because they're not gay, because all we do is still watch Vine compilations, because what year is it? But anyway, if any Gen Z listens to this podcast, don't worry about it, just look it up.
Welcome to Ship Post Pod.
I don't know. I, in a very unsurprising move, went into this with no expectations. I don't think I realized that Hayden Christensen was going to be in it until like after the series started. I knew absolutely fucking nothing about it, so I have no qualms.
And you got a few choice Padme mentions in there as well. Just for yourself.
If they were gonna do it and like do it the flashbacks, like it was always dancing around Padme. It's like you're just like your mother, and I'm like, can we see? Can
Natalie
we see?
Portman was busy returning to the franchise she hates less.
Yeah, exactly.
She
Yeah,
owns
she has
part of
important
a
stuff
soccer
to
team
do.
now.
She sure
It's
does.
very complicated.
Wait, what?
She owns part of a women's soccer team now.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
I
very
thought you
cool.
said she was on a soccer team, and I was like, huh.
She owns
She's
part
very
of a
short for
soccer
that.
team.
She
You
would
can-
be
you
a
can be
very
short and play
soccer
soccer.
player.
I don't fucking know.
She's really short, though.
She's like
Yeah, so is
shorter
Messi.
than me.
How tall is
Yeah,
Messi?
she's shorter than
Isn't
Messi
Messi's like-
by a lot.
Messi's like 5'5".
She's
like
like
5
5
feet.
feet tall.
I know, but like
Yeah,
Meg,
she
I
can
think
still play
Megan.
soccer.
I think Megan Klingenberg
is
yeah.
5'2".
Anyway, this is now a soccer podcast. I'm so sorry, everyone. This whole time it's actually
you
been
know,
a soccer
Kristen.
podcast.
Wow, Natalie Portman's 5'3", according to Google.
She's
That's
not.
the
She's
shortest
like
5'3"
5'1".
I've ever seen.
Taller than
Yeah,
me?
no.
That's not
That's
right.
not true.
Yeah, that's some fake shit. Her publicist
That's
put that
some
on
Tom
there.
Is it
Cruise
Natalie
style
Portman
height.
or is
Yeah,
it
right?
5 foot 3 inches of birds stuck together?
Do we want to talk about Leia? Because I feel like we all enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I do, but
For
Rana,
sure.
did you have a chance to talk about what you
Oh, yes.
wanted to see and
Oh,
did and
yeah.
didn't see?
I didn't have too many hopes. This is gonna sound stupid, but I really was thinking we were gonna get more Force Ghost Qui-Gon sort of mentoring Obi-Wan. And although Liam Neeson has obviously had some real issues in life, I felt like I really loved. I have never even actually finished reading the book, but I only read part of the book once at a library of the Master and Apprentice book, and it's so good. And I just love their like interesting take on the Jedi Master and Apprentice relationship. I find that fascinating in all the High Republic books. Like I just think I like the way that they work together, and I would have sort of liked to see Ghost Qui-Gon. And I knew he was going to be in the show. As soon as I saw Liam Neeson said he would never return to TV, I was like, you fucker, you're in the show. I didn't think it would only be in the last, 2 minutes. But, thank you, Kate. Kate generously. Let me return the one book I borrowed 2 years ago, and then I'll give you this one. But yeah, so I was kind of looking forward to that of like similar to Chris, sort of like angsty Obi-Wan in the desert. I thought it was going to be a lot more of like flashbacks of his time and less him actually doing shit. But that being said, I was very happy with what we got. I didn't have really robust expectations because I kind of figured like I was excited by the show because I guess I'm a bit of a basic bitch sometimes, but like I thought for a long time this was going to happen, and then you know, like all things Star Wars, the more they denied it, the more I figured, okay, it's going to happen. And then when they did announce it, I was really, really excited for some reason. And I don't give a fuck about Obi-Wan, but I was like, oh my God, like this is going to be fantastic. And I think part of it was just the clear, like, love and excitement you could see in Ewan McGregor returning to the role, and even the ways that, like, I know she's questionable in some decision making, but even the way that, like, Kathleen Kennedy was talking about the show, I was like, this is interesting. I want to see what happens here. So I was excited, but I didn't necessarily get my hopes up. And that was the one thing I was kind of looking forward to, was like, give me angsty Obi-Wan in the desert, reliving what he could have changed slightly, like that he thinks would adjust what actually happened. I did not think we'd get to see him go on adventures. I certainly didn't think we'd get young Leia. I am very happy we got young Leia, and I know that's a separate point on this. But yeah, I was happy with it, and I really didn't have that many expectations.
I don't know if this is going to be a topic I can bring up in the rest of the outline because it's not really a topic at all. But fucking Beru.
Dude.
Right.
Kill him
That's what
again.
I said that when we were watching it. I was like, I gained a new respect for her.
She's
like
ready to
I was
throw
like,
down.
okay, you were the only useful person in this whole fucking house.
I know. I like her.
Correct.
I liked her
I
sawed-off shotgun blaster. I was like,
When
God.
she
I
comes
was
around
like,
the
okay.
corner, like smacking people, I was like, all right, you
That
know what?
was
All right,
so
you deserve
good.
your blue milk in space in 40
Yeah.
years or 20 years.
Owen's
or
just
whatever,
standing
10
there.
years.
Owen's standing there fucking useless. She's pulling guns out of the wall. Like, let's
Right.
fucking go.
I just like inject that moment into my veins when she's like pulling guns out of her fucking brick wall, and he's looking at her like, "Who the fuck is my wife?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, motherfucker."
That's right. You knew what you got into. You
Exactly.
introduced her for a reason. Like, she didn't need to get that this is my girlfriend Beru speech in Attack of the Clones. There's a reason we got it.
Yes, exactly. I'm just like, oh, that moment. I was just like, I mean, Chris can tell you, we were making bad decisions and watching it when it dropped at 1 a.m. Mountain Time, and probably like annoying the ever-loving shit out of the neighbors because I was hollering. It was loud. God, I was so excited. That was a wonderful moment. I know that E.K. Johnson, who was a huge Beru stan, was over the fucking moon. Probably just as loud. You could probably hear her from Canada. And I was just like, I'm not even a Beru stan. I'm happy for you, and also just like this is the content I didn't know I needed. So like, thanks.
Also, didn't that actress get out of a cult? So I was happy for her. I
Yeah.
was like, good for you. Like, not only did you get out of that terrible cult, which is a whole life process, but in addition to that, you're here, you're doing a good job with your acting, you returned to this role that you had like 2 lines in 2002, and you're kicking ass.
Exactly.
What a life.
No, she was in the Nexium cult, and now she, she pops up in Star Wars occasionally, and she reads tarot cards on the beach, and I'm so happy for her.
Oh,
What a
Yeah.
fucking life.
Speaking of prequel actor redemption, her and Joel Edgerton did phenomenal. And I think
Yeah.
they were given some really great stuff to do and some really emotional scenes. And as somebody who was at an age when I first saw Star Wars that I never particularly cared about Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, I came out of this series loving them and having a huge respect for them because of these performances.
And now you're
I
sad when they
still
turn into
don't
crispy
like-
bacon.
I still don't like Owen.
Yeah,
That guy's a
same.
fucker.
Like, your dad
I
was a
do
slave
now.
owner who married a slave. Like, I don't know how I feel about you, but I'm here for Beru.
He's
Yeah.
still a dick.
Whether it's a New
I
Hope
mean, yeah.
Beru of her being like, oh, whatever, he's young, he's gonna be how he is. Let's drop more celery into this pot of water. Or I always notice that. I'm like, why do they have celery in space? I guess
It's
there's
bok
celery.
choy.
It is bok choy. You're right.
Yeah.
It is bok choy. I'm not like that woman who's going around Twitter who thinks celery and bok choy are different things.
I saw that.
You're right.
Oh
I just got
my.
it mixed up in my head. I knew it was
You're
a green.
great.
Yes, no, bok choy is not celery, and I can tell the difference. I promise.
Thank you.
Listen, just
yeah.
because Owen thinks that Trump may be an asshole, but at least he speaks his mind.
Yeah, he's like Owen is definitely a Trump voter. I'm sorry, I can't like. I don't like him. The show did not redeem him for me. It gave him a little bit of nuance, but it did not redeem him.
He definitely he's posted on Spacebook about Hillary's emails. There's no question.
He's definitely the one who's like, I didn't own slaves, so I have no role in reparations.
Exactly.
Like, and your dad literally, like, who built your house?
Yeah, you're even
You
less
didn't even
removed
get a
from it
new
than most
house.
Americans
You
who say
lived
that.
in the same house. Like, okay.
I wonder who Space Hillary is. I'm gonna say
I mean, it's Mon Mothma.
It's Mon Mothma.
Oh,
Yeah.
duh.
We can answer that
What
right
the
now.
fuck? Why did I?
As we will see in
fuck.
Andor.
Posting on Facebook about Mon Mothma. About Mon
But Mon
Mothma's
Mothma's
emails.
God.
I'm gonna say the thing that I'm not on this podcast, but here I am. The thing that I didn't want to see, which was like redemption for Luke being a stupid bitch, which I was like, they better not like give him he better be useless this whole time still.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris. Chris just put, I'm not on this podcast, but here I am in the titles. He was as useless as he could have been. They like kind of softened his uselessness, but he was still really stupid. And he was just like breaking speeders. He was like pretending their house was like a spaceship. And it's like, your twin is literally like fixing shit and like saving the galaxy and like starting the rebellion, and like you are such a like young dumb twink in training, like you can't do anything. And I love it because I'm like, that's who he grows up to be. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this
think
in a Leia point. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kate.
Oh no, I was gonna say this is a perfect way to segue into Leia.
Yes.
So like, let us please. Yeah, go ahead, Rana.
I have this as a Leia point, but whoever at Disney or Lucasfilms, or whether I would like to credit Deborah Chow herself, though I'm sure it wasn't actually her, whoever decided to market this as Obi-Wan and Luke's beginning like friendship and mentoring, and then immediately pivots so we get like 2 seconds of Luke in the first episode and 5 minutes in the last episode, and the rest of it was Leia. I was like, at first I thought they were comparing and contrasting. I thought it was like that meme where they're like, make her a princess, I don't know, make him a farmer or something. Like, that one's really funny, but I don't do it justice. That meme fucking kills me every time. Burb, you're making a face. Do you not know the meme?
I don't know that one.
I'm gonna send it to you later. I don't
Okay.
know. It kills me. It's Padme like when she's dying of sadness after childbirth,
Thank God.
and they're like, "Oh, what do you want us to do with the babies?" And she's like, "Oh, give her to put her on Alderaan and make her a princess. She has political power." And they're like, "What about the boy?" And she's like, "I don't fucking care. Make him a farmer or something." It's so funny.
God, that's exactly what it feels like. Though.
Yeah, and so I thought it was like that of comparing the differences in their lives, and I was like, I don't need another thing trying to make me feel bad for white rural people. Like, that's what I thought it was going to be, and I was like, do we need this? But then they surprised me, and we got a whole lot of character for little Leia. I mean, we did get what I thought was probably the biggest plot inconsistency, which is, how does this not get mentioned in A New Hope? How is Obi-Wan just the person who years ago helped her father in the Clone Wars? Like, that was my biggest hang-up timeline-wise, was like, did you forget? Did you get hit in the head? Like, is it so secret that you can't mention it?
He doesn't age very
Like-
well. Anything could happen.
I think he ages
In
like
the next
he's
9
a white
years.
person with no SPF on a planet with 2 suns. Yeah, I live in Colorado. Have you
This
seen
is an
people? Like,
unmelanated man, y'all.
they don't. He does not wear lotion. He doesn't even bathe. Like, there's no way he's moisturizing and using tretinoin. Like, he's not doing this.
Oh my God, it's true. I'm super. Oh my God. I totally agree. I totally fucking agree though. I was like waiting for the Luke stuff, and I was like, yeah, okay, here's Farm Boy Twink. Let's just get this over with, and then little Leia popped up, and I was like, what a fucking delight. Not only because there's just like, God, they wrote her character so excellently. Like, it's just like, she's very obviously 10 years old, but also like a very precocious 10-year-old. And I thought they handled that fine line between like, she is privileged and she's had all this education and she has a very particular place in her society and all this other stuff. And also she's 10 and she just wants to play with her robot and climb trees and fuck around. And I thought that was lovely. And also I just, you know, there's such a direct line from, you know, Leia just like fucking roasting Obi-Wan and calling him old and telling him he's a decrepit piece of shit. And it's like just such a direct line between that to Claudia Gray's like Leia, Princess of Alderaan, which is a fantastic book, to her just being like, get in a garbage chute, Flyboy, in A New Hope. And it is just seamless and perfect. And, you know, I just... The actress that they cast, bless that child. She did a lovely, wonderful job. Carrie is sprinkling glitter on her down from heaven. I just like have no doubt in my mind.
at this.
She is. And God, it was just like, it was wonderful. Clearly the direction was wonderful. I can't imagine how difficult it is to direct children, let alone fully grown motherfuckers. Yeah, no, just like chef's kiss on all of it. And also, I love seeing Bail be the galaxy's best dad, but we already knew that. So I was even happier to see Brea just like being a badass, and also just like the way that they both like just like wholeheartedly accept Leia as she is and are trying to like, you know, they're trying to give her direction, and but at the same time just like they're not necessarily prescribing things, or just saying like, you need to figure out how you want to be in this whole mess, which is something you don't see a lot, like in terms of like people like grown-ups talking to 10-year-olds, like just assuming that they're as smart as Luke is at all times. You know, I just like, I don't know, there's just so much good stuff in there. So many good like just like parent-child dynamics. Star Wars is a, you know, principally a story about found family, and you know, I think that really shines quite well in you know, the Organa's parenting, and the way that like she just feels like 100% like part of them because she is. Anyway, yeah, it's very heartwarming. I have a lot of fuzzy feelings.
Yeah, and I think sorry, you go ahead, Burp.
It's good that they do parent her like that, because like there's literally a part of the show where they're like, hey, you're small, 10-year-old, can you go climb into these fucking vents? Here's a ladder. If you don't fix this in the next 10 minutes, we're all gonna fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God she's Anakin's daughter and somehow magically knows how to hotwire a planet.
For real. No, but I mean, and this is a great answer to a question that Tyler asked in the Tashi's Patreon Slack. What existing pieces of Star Wars canon enhanced your enjoyment of the series, either through actual connections or just vibes? I mean, in terms of vibes, Kate, you said it, like, it is a straight line from this series to Leia, Princess of Alderaan, to the original trilogy, to Bloodline, to the sequel trilogy. Mm-hmm. Like, it's all the same character. And for a character as complex as Leia, that is incredible, frankly. Like, Claudia Gray is just absolutely stunning for her portrayals of Leia alone, anything else she does aside. And yeah, I agree with everything that y'all said. I loved how precocious she was. I loved her in contrast to Luke. I loved the family aspects of both the Organas and the Larses. Like, you had the moment in the premiere where she said, "I'm not even a real Organa," and like Bail immediately goes into crisis mode and is like, "No, don't ever say that."
He was about to go downstairs with a fucking baseball bat and beat the shit out of that loser cousin.
And then you bookend the series in the finale with Owen fighting against Reva, and she says, "You really love him like he's your own," and he just says, "He is my own." Like, it's a beautiful statement on family in Star Wars that is, by some, like JJ, kind of muddled sometimes as a theme. And, you know, I really thought it's just a fantastic reminder that genetics has nothing to do with family.
Yeah, but raising the family sure does, because Luke would have fucking fallen out of that air vent.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like a case study in nurture versus nature.
Absolutely.
Skywalker twin things. It's fine.
Yeah, I love the vibes of this. There's no other point.
Yeah. Legit.
It's just vibes.
Yeah. No, but I mean, and honestly, like, Kate, you said this as well. Just, this is an incredibly directed series. Like, you can tell that every single actor was given direction and notes and worked with in exactly how Deb Chow wanted them to perform to achieve her vision. And, like, you know, you can tell when shit is, like, going like a finely tuned machine, and it was in this show. Like, from the first episode with the Organas. Also, the Brea Organa moment in the finale where she's like, is that a holster? I love it. Like, that was, again, a direct line to the Brea that we see in Princess of Alderaan, where she's like, yeah, you're like very kind of like prim, impressive boyfriend seems nice. Maybe one day you'll date a scoundrel, though. They're more fun.
The best line in the entire book, IMO.
So good.
No. I do love that, like, I feel like in a lot of Star Wars stuff, we can kind of lose track of, like, hey, they have magic powers and can do all this shit, but when she, like, got the holster from Obi-Wan and just kind of looked up at him, and he was like, you're 10.
Yeah.
I was like, this is
Gonna
great,
give you
because
a blaster.
I yelled
I
that right
love
before
that
I was
moment.
like, she is 10. And then he said it, and I felt very validated. But it's like, don't give the fucking 10-year-old.
I will say, if there's a 10-year-old I'm gonna trust in a fictional universe with a blaster, it's probably Leia.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
I can just imagine her like pew 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 pew. Like, I don't know.
Just gonna
In
I'm
real
just gonna
life,
point
no. In a
this
show,
lightsaber
I'm
at my
fine with it.
eyeball.
And that was and that was a perfect encapsulation of the show too, because at the beginning we see Obi-Wan not connecting with anybody, you know, only watching Luke from afar, like kind of refusing to get involved in anybody, to Leia saying she can help and adults kind of brushing her off, and Obi-Wan being like, no, listen to me, you trust me, I trust her. And like, it was just a perfect encapsulation of the growth of their relationship. And to me, like, Ron, I'm going to disagree with you slightly about how thinking about her message to Obi-Wan in A New Hope. To me, it like adds so much to that, because like, and this is very much in my head canon for it. But to me, it's like, you know, 19-year-old Leia not wanting to be, you know, a kid anymore, and very much presenting herself like a diplomat and a senator, being like, you know, I don't want to just run into this arms and call him Uncle Ben, you know? Like,
Yeah, I can see that. I guess part of why it confuses me a little bit is like, not confuses. I guess some of this is just basic emotional regulation that we don't see in other characters in Star Wars, but like her response when she she is excited that he's there, right? We know that in A New Hope when she's like, Ben Kenobi, but also like she already has to, despite losing her entire planet, we've talked about this before, she has to like be the emotional support animal of the ship.
mhm.
The emotional
it sounds
support
awful,
child.
but yeah, she's 19 at this point when.
But she's a woman. She has to absorb feelings.
Yeah, like, but then it makes me think of how much more it does add a lot of layer. The next time that Leia, haha, I'm from Massachusetts. Anyways, it
Leia
does
in
make
Boston.
me think. Yeah, exactly. It does make me think that the next time that I watch New Hope, which I'm sure is not that far away, that I will be much more mindful of that dynamic and what that means for her when he's, you know, sacrifices himself for Luke. But it does make me wish that he had more to say about, you know, when they get there and the fact that she's there and all of that. But that being said, like, I know I'm not asking them to retcon. It just adds a lot of layers that I'll have to think about for sure. And I hear what you're saying there, Chris, of like, yeah, maybe she's just being an adult and not making it about her.
Yeah, and you know, as an Anakin Vader fan, I am well versed in the ways of imagining emotional inflection on scenes where it wasn't intended. So like,
Yike.
but no, and I mean, you know, small things like the smile on his face when he sees Leia for the first time and she's with Luke in A New Hope. Like, that takes on new significance to me. Like, stuff like that. But no, like, I totally hear what you're saying. Also, one last Leia point from me is that, man, people acting against children, or, acting with children is very difficult to do, and a lot of incredible actors cannot do it to save their lives. And holy shit, did Ewan and Vivian have chemistry? Like, you felt like they were related.
I mean, keep in mind that Ewan has 4 daughters.
Yes, this is very true.
One of whom was in the show.
Yeah,
She was the drug dealer.
she's
on
one of
Dayu.
whom who grew up to be a drug dealer.
There's always one.
Oh yes. But no, like I can't. I mean, I feel like she probably had like the most fun on set. Like everybody was their dad on set. I feel like, and which is very sweet to envision.
That's the sense I've gotten from the press tour,
Mm-hmm.
which is great.
For sure. Going back to Tyler's point about like other media that ties into this, that like kind of just like expanded on the experience for me. And then I think we can probably save the rest of the conversation for next week. I knew we were gonna have so many things to say. I just want to say that, listen, Twilight of the Apprentice is probably, aside from all the Canera stuff, my favorite bit of Rebels, and it is, I think, the duel between Ahsoka and Vader absolutely essential viewing to understand, like, completely that final duel in that last episode between Vader and Obi-Wan, because they are such mirrors of each other in terms of what side of Vader's mask gets broken off, the dialogue that is spoken, the emotions that are felt, the way that Ahsoka and Obi-Wan as the two characters aside from Padme who are closest to Anakin and knew him best and were his family, like the way that they really do like literally come face to face with what and who Anakin has become and have to just like let go of this idea of who he was in order to like live their lives. It's just, yeah. It's just, there are so many feelings. Somebody did a horrible emotional thing where they made a YouTube video where they just really did put those scenes side by side. And I was just like, wow, I'm going to go lie on the floor for about 5 hours. Yeah, if you haven't watched Rebels because you have some sort of issue with animated shows, please get over yourself. You're missing out.
I mean, if people haven't watched Rebels at this point because they don't think it's real Star Wars, like, they've lost.
Oh, absolutely.
And the best thing about it is those are the same people who fucking idolize Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni
Which,
says,
like, if you told Filoni that you didn't watch animation because you didn't think it was real Star Wars, he would fucking slap you.
he would just be like, I fucking hate you. Are you the guys from SpongeBob? I'll shit in your hat. That's all I got. I just want to say, Rebel supremacy, always. Especially because, like, they put Dave Filoni in charge of live action, so now it's just the Filoniverse, so fuck all of you. And those are all my feelings.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Oh.
10-year-old Leia is more mature than 19-year-old Luke. Changed my fucking mind.
19-year-old Luke would have fucking fallen out of that vent. And not just because he's big.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
Absolutely. All right, well, I feel like this is a great place to wrap up what is now very clearly part 1 of our Obi-Wan Kenobi reactions. Thank you for listening. As always, remember to protect yourself against COVID out there. Get your vaccines and boosters if you haven't. Mask up. Try not to go indoors. The pandemic is getting worse again. It's a whole thing. Next episode, we're going to continue talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Get to many more of the questions that people gave us, both via the Tashi Patreon Slack and Twitter. So if you asked us a question and you didn't hear us talk about it, we will. Promise we have it. In the meantime, if you have the means, please donate to Indigenous Women Rising at iwrising.org. And after that, if you want to support us, you can donate to the Tashi Station Radio Patreon or give us coffee at ko-fi.com/bookhorsepod. It helps us cover our hosting and production costs and keep Argos, Cerberus, Jasper, Orca, and Tony fed and lodged in these
Orca
troubled
just
times.
went to the vet ER fucking again, so
Oh
you
my
know.
god, please give me coffee to pay
Your
for
money
Orca's
does
vet
not
bills.
go to vet bills.
No,
It doesn't actually
I'm
work.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm fine. Don't give me Orca vet money. Don't feel bad. And our theme song is Whisk Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joby Terra Design, and our audio and production are done, as always, by Kristen McDonald. I am Chris. For Rana, Miranda, Kate, and Kristen, thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week. Oh yeah, we did.
No, you're just talking right over it. That's good.
She doesn't have a little recording thing in her. You all have the red dot and she doesn't.
Oh.
How does that work?
Yeah. Oh. How does that work? Oh,
I think
no.
She's blinking.
Oh,
She's
no, she's still
alive.
there.
No, she's still there. She's just about to slap a baby. She's about to like punch. Oh,
Hey,
she's
there it
is. Nailed it.
I like how I had to specify actual recording is higher quality.
No,
That's
God.
a questionable assertion,
That's all
Riverside.
good.
You've got the little red recording dot now.
No,
Now
she doesn't.
doesn't.